This is what you want, by the way, just goading each other.
I'm fully behind the Jambos, yes.
We had a Hearts fan. It turned out his internet was from 1986, from Albert Kidd's time as well. I didn't realise you were called Ian Black, Mitchell. That's good. The meltdown over the next couple of weeks is going to be very sweet. Ian, you've said to us there, you've been caught out on record on various podcasts saying Hearts aren't that very good. After yesterday's game, watching your team lose them for what I believe is the third time this season, what is your thoughts now?
They're okay, I guess. Yeah. No, you've got to credit them. They get the job done. And I think what Mark said there about like having faith in Martin O'Neill and, he will drag you through it. I think the Hearts fans, Hearts players know that Derek McInnes will fix problems. And it's why, again, I'm bringing it back to Rangers naturally. But I don't think Rangers fans have that belief in Danny Rule, because once we saw it with the Motherwell boss last week, once something changes in the game, we then can't fix it. So again, just having that faith in their manager, I think, is everything at this stage, and we don't have that.
Yeah, Ian, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions before we go. Richard, would you like to refute anything of Ian's allegations about Hearts not being a good side?
Well, I've quite enjoyed it. I've quite enjoyed sort of Hearts flying under the radar. I think it's helped us actually in the long run, because it's a lot of the focus has been on sort of Motherwell, for example, till that kind of fell apart. And I think Hearts have sort of slowly gone about their business, and I quite like that nobody's enjoyed watching Hearts. And I think Hearts' main problem has been teams like Kilmarnock, Livingston, St Mirren, teams like that. So top six is a walk in the park by comparison, really, I think, because we've been able to play our, boring football, which beats the teams from Glasgow. So, fair play.
This is what you want, by the way, just goading each other. Ian, I think you've been very good, very honest. Last couple of questions before we chat a little bit more about Hearts to Richard is, who's going to win the league title?
It's Hearts all day. Yes, I've ordered my Hearts top this morning, so that'll come soon. I'm fully behind the Jambos, yes.
I didn't realise you were called Ian Black, Mitchell. That's good. Because he was mad Rangers fan, wasn't he, Ian Black?
No, Ian Black's a mad Jambo.
Is he? But he did.
Hearts, yeah. He played for us.
Yeah, I know.
He left Hearts, went to Rangers after the 2012 Cup final.
I just presumed he was a Rangers fan.
Scotland call up.
Yeah, he got one Scotland cap. Yeah. Because I weirdly know a lot of players that will look at. I don't have a life, right? So I know that kind of stuff. And Ian, just stick the boot into Hearts one last time. How big a disaster would it be if they don't win the league?
I'm trying not to think about it, because the alternative is way worse for me, to be honest. So I'm not.
Is it a bigger disaster for Rangers?
Yeah.
A bigger disaster for Rangers and Hearts at this stage, I think.
Yeah, that was great. I might be listening to This Is Ibrox podcast. I don't listen to fan ones, but the meltdown over the next couple of weeks is going to be very sweet. Thank you for joining us on This Is Fans Only, Ian. That was great. And then, Richard, hopefully your internet stays up. Talk to us about that game yesterday. You go 1-0 down. We said to our producer, James, Hearts have been down a lot over the last few weeks. Did you always feel like you were going to come back and do it?
No. And to be honest, it was. I think the feeling in the stadium was just overwhelming nerves, really. I think even when sort of Scatchell came out at half time, I don't know if it was just the stand I was in the Roseburn stand, but I sort of felt he didn't get as good a reaction as he would have got, because we're all just sort of thinking like, what's going to happen second half, and just not knowing like the kind of performance we were going to get. So I think there was that fear, but also I think as much Hearts just didn't know what kind of Rangers would get in the second half either, because would they go for it? Would they panic? And to be fair, I think I was surprised by the showing in the second half, but pleasantly surprised.
And Mark, for you, like, it could go down to the last game of the season. Is there a little bit of you that wants Hearts to win the league?
Do you know what? I don't grudge them at all, because I don't think, as much as it pains me to say it, Celtic don't deserve it this year. And Hearts have been brilliant, and it's taken a kind of innovation, obviously, in terms of whatever this algorithm is that they use to sign players and all the rest of it. It's taken basically Celtic and Rangers to kind of rest on their laurels and be a bit too complacent. And somebody at some point has got to have came along and done it, and Hearts have done it. The players, they've got a great squad. The like Derek McInnes, like, been managing in Scotland for so long. He's kind of worked his way up to get to this point. It would be an amazing achievement. And not only obviously is it good for Scottish football, but see, be honest, like as a Celtic fan, I think with Celtic fans wanting so much change at the club and all that, when losing the league to Hearts is the sort of thing that's going to be a catalyst for massive change. But because see if we somehow pulled it off and won the title, it would give the Celtic board a bit of like, well, we look at what we managed to pull off. So, and it would just maybe reinforce that kind of complacency that's been there. So I think it would be great for Hearts. I was kind of like just, as long as Rangers don't win it. So yesterday, I was so conflicted yesterday because when Rangers scored and it showed you the leak, I was like, I don't hate the look of that. Celtic 1 point behind,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I was like, I don't hate the look of that at all. But I was really hoping for a draw. I think that'd have been the best result for Celtic. And then when Hearts won, and then you did see the league, and then you're looking at the permutations that you're going, because we now need Hearts to drop points basically in another game and then win all our 3 games, which is probably very unlikely to happen now. So yeah, you're kind of going fair enough. But at the very least, Rangers are out of it by the looks of it. And yeah, I wouldn't grudge them at all. I think overall it probably is good for the game.
Richard, I don't know if you heard us ask this question earlier. So we asked it to Ian, our Rangers fan. I'm going to ask Mark later. Who's that one player that you need to keep and build your team around next season? Hearts have obviously having a big recruitment. They had players in the stand, French second division players in the stand yesterday. They've already done some business. What's the name of is he a Ugandan striker you signed in January?
Oh, Rogers Mato.
Mato, and that was going to be a summer one and then fast track. So you're already doing some business. Who do you need to keep? Who's vital to this Hearts team, Richard?
It's a hard one because I'd probably say, obviously after the player of the year, I'd say Braga, but I'm almost resigned to losing him. I think he could be the big sort of summer signing, who could be almost the marquee for sort of Jamestown. And so I'm almost kind of resigned to that. But I think beneath it as well, I think obviously there's a lot of talk about the analytics and how big a difference that's made. But I think even looking at last night with Kingsley scoring, Shankland scoring, Steinwender having a great performance, Halkett header and everything. And I think if you look closer, it's actually that the spine of the team's already been there. And I think it's these players that are the core. So obviously there's a lot of talk of Beningame and Devlin probably on their way out. So a couple of weeks ago, I would have said Devlin. But obviously the last 3 results we've had, we've managed without him as well. So to be honest, I think, if you're looking at zoning in on one player, I'd say Shankland's obviously been the one who's been the big difference. You could argue he has been with Jamestown, with I think everything which has come in, I think the fact we managed to, or McInnes has managed to get him to stay, I think that's been massive. So I think moving forward, if we've got him, he's the great linchpin for the team.
And surely for the future, if he's planning on kind of sustaining this long term, you want to get Craig Gordon signing a new contract.
Yeah, well, to be fair though, I mean, like looking at the Scotland, the goalkeeping situation just now, I'm like, if he can even get remotely fit, I'd be very surprised if he's not on the plane. As to who starts, I've no idea, but I feel like this should be his final season.
He's supposed to be back training this week.
So when I spoke to him, he was aiming to be back straight after the Ivory Coast game, which was over a month ago. So
Player of the Year awards on Sunday night. He said he expected to be back in full training this week.
That's good. That's good to know. Final question for you, Richard. Who's going to win the league?
I mean, last night it just felt different. I've not been to a huge amount of games this season, and I think with last night managing to go along and just sort of getting swept up with it, I couldn't say anybody but Hearts. I think there was just that feeling, turning the game around and looking at who we've got in the next couple of games, not taking anything for granted. But if we chuck it now, I'll be off social media for the rest of the year. So that's maybe an incentive. Not sure.
I mean, I'm a neutral. I've openly said for the last 2-3 months in media that I would love for Hearts to win the league for the Harry Milne connection.